All right, shalawam. First off, I want to say all praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Kwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders at GMS, and to the elect doing work in sincerity and in truth. Shalom. It's GMS precepts, Nazar Khad here. And I want to go into faith, right? Because in these times that we're living in now, as we know, we see prophecies, you know, rolling, just rolling, um, unfolding on a daily, wars and rumors of wars. We see Esau trying to make his move with this Project Bluebeam shit. We see a lot of things are happening, right? You see the love of people are starting to wax cold. You got natural disasters happening everywhere. Things are happening, you see, and they're happening very, very fast. Um, so what's going to be your crutch, right? Matter of fact, before I get this, let me get this. What's gonna be your crutch, right? Or what's gonna be your support system? Isaiah, what is it, 33? Isaiah 33 and 6. And wisdom, this is Isaiah 33 and 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be what? The stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So these words are gonna be able to keep you stable or be your crutch in that day. But not only these words, right? Because these words mean nothing if you don't have faith, right? These words mean nothing if you don't have faith. That's why I had this word faith pulled up on etymology.com, and I'll read it, right? Because this is something that's very, very important. This is something that's going to be worth more than the amount of zeros one might have in their bank account or whatever, right? Faith in these last days is what's going to be able to faith in prophecy, faith in the word is what's going to be able to keep us stable with a sound mind, right? Because that's the next scripture I got. It's impossible to please him without faith. Matter of fact, since I quoted it, let me get it. Hebrews, where is it? Where you at? Hebrews 11 and 6. It says, "But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him." You see? So without faith, faith is something that we're going to need, and it's going to be of high importance in these last days because of all the things that are going to take or are taking place. Okay? Let me read this definition here. Faith. Faith, it says faithfulness to a trust or a promise, right? We were told about the promise, right? We were promised something towards our forefathers, and it would trickle on down to us today, right? Starting with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers. They were given a promise. If you go back to Genesis, I believe it's 15 and 17, the Most High speaks about the promise that he gave to Abraham and his seeds. You see? And we are, to this day, we still trust in that promise, right? So that's what faith is. It says faithfulness to a trust or promise, loyalty to a person, honesty, truthfulness, right? From Anglo-French, Old French, feed, foi, says faith, belief, trust, confidence, pledge. From Latin, fides, trust, faith, confidence, reliance, credence, belief, right? We believe, right? That's why I said it's not. It's one thing to know these words, right? Or here it is. Let me go back to it, right? Well, yeah, dog. It's one thing to. It's one thing to know know that wisdom and knowledge is going to be stability at times, strength, salvation. But it's one thing to know these words, know these prophecies, but it's totally another thing, because a lot of people know prophecies, they know the breakdowns, but guess what? They don't have the faith, right? And they just fall out, right? So faith, like I said, is a very important thing, and like Hebrews says, it's impossible to please the Most High without it. You see, and that's something in common, and this is what this chapter goes into. It goes into examples of other prophets or men of the Lord that had faith. Look, I mentioned Abraham. Let's jump down to the 8th verse. Or I mentioned Noah. Let me read 7 and 8. Hebrews 7:11 and 7. By faith, Noah, being warned of the Most High of things not seen as of yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith, right? So what was Noah warned of? He was warned of the oncoming flood and how it was going to rain out of the sky. And these are things that was never seen before. You see, being warned of the Most High of things not seen yet. And what did he do? He moved with fear, right? Isaiah said, the fear of the Lord is his treasure. So fear the Lord. To have fear of the Lord, that takes a level of faith as well, right? Because you fear, you believe, you have a belief in what the Most High is capable of. You see? Verse 8, by faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out not knowing whither he went. Right? And Abraham was told to go from one place to another a few times, right? And there's plenty of other examples here of faith. It mentions Jacob too, verse 9. By faith he sojourned in the land of promise, as in the land of Canaan, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. You see? So, plenty of examples of the scriptures of prophets or men of the Lord showing a high level of faith. And through that high level of faith, they're able to get through certain instances. And today is no different, right? The scriptures speak about how things aforetime were written for our learning, right? So we are to use our forefathers as examples, right? They gave us a blueprint, and the secret to all this is a high level of faith, which, if you pray to the Most High, He will give it to you liberally, as the scriptures say, right? And that's what, now I wanted to point this out too. I had Googled, or not Googled, I had did a search for the word faith in the scriptures. And as you can see here, let me scroll back. Let me scroll down. In the Old Testament, there's only 2 verses or 2 books where the word faith is. All the others, all the 229 verses, right? They're all in the New Testament. So in the Old Testament, it's only the book of Deuteronomy and the book of Habakkuk. And all the other words, all the other faith verses are all in the New Testament. Why is that? One reason, I remember, I'm pretty sure I heard apostles break this down. But the Old Testament really deals with the law, statute, commandments. The New Testament it deals with a lot of faith. That's why there's a lot of faith scriptures in the New Testament. Now, why is that? Because Yahawashi, he represented faith, right? Because what people couldn't get around, John the first chapter, St. John the first chapter, what a lot of people couldn't get around is that Yahawashi, that man, the son of Joseph, the son of Mary, he was actually that man prophesied in the book of Deuteronomy, in the book of Isaiah, right? But it took a level of faith. Now, a lot of people didn't believe him, but a few people did. Why? Because it took a level of faith to believe that, right? The scriptures speak about when Yahawashi was gathering the 12, and they believed instantly that was the Lord, that was the man prophesied in Deuteronomy. Oh, that's the Lord. Okay? They believed instantly, but a lot of other people didn't believe. You see? Now, let me read this. This is Romans 3:22. It says, we are made right. Oh, no, I don't want this shit. Excuse me, that's NLT. Romans 3 and 22. Even the righteousness of the Most High, which is by faith of Yahawashi, unto all and upon all them that believe. For there is no difference. So that's big right here, right? It says to be righteous, or the righteousness of the Most High, is what? The belief or the faith in Yahawashi, right? So Yahawashi plays a very, very vital role to salvation. Hell, it tells you, Acts the 4th chapter, there's no other name under heaven wherewith we must be saved. So we have to believe, and then that's another thing, the belief in the name of the Lord, Yahawashi. You have to. It takes a high level of belief to believe that, because we do have proof of it, and that's another thing. We do have proof of the name, but in a way we don't. But it takes a level of faith. That faith has to be given to you by Yahawashi to believe that Yahawashi, that word Yahawashi, is actually the name of the Lord. And you have to believe that saying that name will be able to deliver you from any said perils, will be that strong tower, like it's written in Proverbs. Right? So faith is a very big thing. You see? Faith is a very big thing. And I got a few more. Let me read this. This is Psalm 78. This is verse 32. I'm going to just jump up to 22 and then jump down, right? This is Psalm 78 and 22. Because they believed not in the Most High, and trusted not in his salvation, right? And it goes into all these examples, right? Let me just read a few verses actually, right? Verse 23. Though he had commanded the clouds from above, and opened the doors of heaven, and had rained down manna upon them to eat, and had given them the corn of heaven. Man did eat angels' food, he sent them meat to the full. He caused an east wind to blow into heaven, and by his power he brought in the south wind. He rained flesh also upon them as dust, and feathered fowls like as the sand of the sea. And he let it fall in the midst of their camp round about their habitations. So did they eat, and were filled, and were well filled, for he gave them their own desire. They were not estranged from their lust, but while their meat was yet in their mouths, the wrath of the Most High came upon them, and slew the fattest of them, and smote down the chosen men of Israel. For all this they sinned still. You see? For all this they sinned still, and believed not for his wondrous works. You see? So that's another testament, or that's another proof of who the nation of Israel is, man. The nation of Israel, our people are hard-headed, man, and they have a high level of unbelief. They have no faith. That's why scriptures say, the wicked seeketh after a sign. You see? So we have a lot of wickedness amongst Israel, and the Most High has to get rid of that. Right? And what's the main cause of wickedness within Israel? The lack of faith. Right? If you tell people that they're an Israelite, that the Most High looks like us, so-called black men, or the Most High is a so-called black man, as well as the Lord, as well as the prophets, as well as the angels. Okay, Esau's, according to the Bible, he's a devil that the Bible speaks of, and the Most High is going to get rid of him and put him into slavery, as well as the other nations, and we're going to be kings and rulers again. You see, Jake just don't believe that, man. They have a low level of faith. That's why they're no good. Okay, and if you turn on the news every day, you see what niggas do, man. There's the Most High has plenty of reasons why he has to do what he's doing, or do what he will do to the nation of Israel, the 2/3. All right, so that's pretty much it. Lord willing, you brothers and sisters were edified. Until the next show, shalawam.